We good?
Yeah, it's
Okay, even though I can't see my screen, we'll go ahead and start it. So, hey guys, Jeremy Booyer here. Jeremy Sutton, the Dirty Right Rear podcast. This week we got another Jeremy Statzel from Bonne Terre Dragstrip, and we're going to dive into some drag racing stuff. I'm sure we'll dive into some dirt stuff too, because he likes racing just like us about everything racing. So welcome to the show, man.
Yes, sir, guys. Happy to be here.
Yep. So
Glad to have you.
Yeah, it's this is going to be in Sutton's wheelhouse. So he's an old school rail buggy racer.
So you're going to make me talk today?
Oh yeah. We're going to talk about your old school because actually, Jeremy on my left here, he actually was, back in the day was there for the. What was it? I guess it was the
Big River Sand Drags.
Big
Yeah.
River Sand Drags.
Yes,
He was
sir.
part of that stuff too. So I actually went out there a bunch during that.
Yeah.
And I probably only been to the actual drag strip. Well, my buddy that I work with, Jared Keene, the previous owner, he bought it. And I mean, we went out there a few times, rode our side by sides. They're already on here. And so we went out there, I don't know, 2 or 3 different times. And that was pretty. It was pretty cool, but I haven't been out there since you've had it, really. Because we got hot and heavy into the dirt track stuff, and I got one of your buddies into the dirt. Or I didn't get him into the dirt track stuff, but now I got him even more hooked. So he's probably trying to get you into a little bit of dirt track stuff, I'd imagine.
Yeah. My cousin Kyle there, we grew up together racing four-wheelers down there and sand drags all those years, and cars is in our blood. It's in our family, We love the dirt track stuff and the drag racing stuff. And I've drug him along on the car scene with me for years, and he's had fast stuff with cars, and we've just kind of stemmed into different things. He likes the dirt track stuff. We go together and help each other on everything, and I help those guys sponsor the kids. I really enjoy watching the kids racing and doing good in the dirt track stuff. It's a different scene, but it's the same principle. We all love
still
seeing,
racing.
Oh yeah,
seeing people win and do good and have a good time. And
I mean, there's always not really a beef, but there's always just stuff going back and forth when you're like, oh, drag racers, you just want to go straight, and they're like, oh, you guys just go in circles and get dizzy.
Oh, it's so easy.
Both of them are,
right?
oh, that's just so easy. But I mean, when it comes down to it, that's just giving people crap, and that's fun, and that's part of it. Everyone likes every kind of racing. I mean, if you like any kind of racing, really, you probably like almost every kind of racing. So, and mostly, I mean, it's cool to have. We're pretty lucky around this community to have what we really have, So I mean, speaking of you guys, talking about four-wheelers at the drag strip, Doe Run's having the TT four-wheeler stuff, but like those guys have commented about they want to come to, Doe Run to do that TT stuff because they don't have anywhere to race. And we're pretty lucky in the community where if you want to be a drag racer, you got it right here in Bonne Terre. You want to be a dirt track racer, you got 2 options right here close to us. So we're pretty spoiled, and maybe that's why sometimes it's rough to talk to some racers because they're too spoiled around here. They need to only have a track within like 6 hours or something, and then they'll feel a little better with what they got. And I know you probably have the same thing. So many people have so many opinions on stuff, and you try to take so much of it. I've learned just in the last couple months of getting my hands on that Doe Run track. It's a job.
it is, yes, sir.
People do not understand the behind the scenes of any of it. Like, I mean, I put my parking stuff out there and people contact me about that and then wanting to switch and do this. And I just clicked on the Bonne Terre page. I seen you put your parking thing out there, and I seen already people commenting on it going, hey man, what about this? Can I get this? Can I get? And I'm just like, oh my God, he's going through the same thing I am.
It's a full-time job in itself, but the love behind it, and honestly, the friends and the family, some of the best friends I have in this world are from that place, and you get close to people that you never think you would. But
my favorite thing about drag racing is there's not a grandstands and a pits. Your ticket gets you everywhere you want to go. So that's one thing. When I come into the dirt track scene, I thought was weird at first because I was used to the drag strip where you buy a ticket and you can go right up the race cars. Mm-hmm. And then obviously dirt's not that way, but that's one of my favorite things about drag strip, and that's how I got into it was just going over and meeting people and talking to people and realizing oh, I know this guy a little bit, and
that is probably because like when I first went to like a drag race, or even I went to some kind of TT race thing, which is the way we're doing it down here. But they just buy a ticket and you just wander around the whole place. If you're in the grandstands, you go in the grandstands. And I thought that was crazy. When the first time I went to a drag race, I was like, hey, I want to go. How much does it cost to, go over here? And then everything's the same price. So I guess it's just which one you come from the beginning. Because at first, you never got to see the dirt track drivers. They were off in the other side, and you were like waiting for the races to get over so you could go back there to talk to them. But I do like that kind of aspect of it. So I wonder if I guess the dirt probably couldn't really. Do you guys got to sign like a waiver, everyone that comes in there?
Yes, sir. Everybody has to sign the waiver when they come through the gate.
So that may be one reason, I guess, because, with a dirt, you don't do it unless only if you go in the pit area. So I guess if you had it out front, man, you'd have a line to the... Yeah,
being up close and personal with all the vehicles, getting to meet the drivers and people you meet, and you're always going to have competitiveness and people, rivalries, so on and so forth. But you go down there and you got people on the outside of the parking lot that you're going to race and you want to beat at the end of the night. But when they win, and even when somebody beats you in a different camp, per se, you can still go to the end of the track and you get out of your car still just as excited for them as you are for yourself, because you want to see everybody do good. If you don't have people down there doing good, I mean, what's the point of going and being the only one there doing good? You want to have camaraderie with everybody and good sportsmanship, and we have a good amount of people there. Everybody's super nice. We take parts off our own car to help somebody else out, and at the end of the day, just because you want to see people do good and have a good time. Try to get more family oriented and more kids there. These kids growing up nowadays getting more and more into cars in dirt track world too. Is seeing my little cousins here race dirt track stuff. That's a good feeling, seeing kids enjoy that type of stuff.
It's wild to me to see these kids, 5 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, and junior dragsters running down, 90 mile an hour or whatever. They're probably not that fast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then, the junior sprints, all these kids that, they're like, they can't ride a bike, but they can go out and ride, a junior dragster, or a wing go-kart or whatever, and drive these things so well. I'm like, I couldn't even do some of the stuff they do. So it impresses me to see the kids get into it like that.
I tell all the parents, I'm pretty big advocate on letting all the kids come down whenever they can and test and get used to being there and get them up close. I had some kids yesterday, and I'm nobody, but when you get these little kids come up, want to sign. I had 2 kids yesterday want to sign their flag. That just it means the world that these little kids are into it and they look up to us. And you got to present yourself well so that these kids can grow up into it and grow up to be good people too. But these kids, they bring their kids down, and I tell them every time, I'm like, you're going to be very surprised. Kids are way smarter than you give them credit for, and they adapt way faster. You put these kids in these cars, and they're going to, the moms usually, you get the worried mom in the background, but they pick up really quick. They're very smart, and they learn very, very quickly.
Yeah, they do. It amazes me, to see how fast they pick up, and they're not scared.
No, they overcome it pretty quick.
Yep.
I really didn't understand. I mean, I knew all the drag racing. I'd never been up close, but when I was an apprentice in my job, I actually went with, I guess, a guy that still races at Bonne Terre, Chuck DeMolin. I was an apprentice, and he was my wireman, and he said, hey, you need to come up to Gateway with me. And he goes, meet me in my house. I'll take you up there. And then he wanted me to, go out on the track with him and tell him to burn it out and then when to stop or whatever. Well, I was like, I don't really want you to stop. I want to keep on. He goes, no, man. Ain't the way it works. Ain't the way it works. I'm like, that's what I come to watch. Yeah. After you take off, I'm kind of like, hey, man, let's get back here and do another burnout. But first time I went and done that with him, I was like, holy crap. Because being up close to a drag car is way different than I really. And then going back to the Bonne Terre when Jared bought it, and you just walk out there and go anywhere, and I was like, holy crap, man, this is pretty cool. And then just pull your side by side right up by the fence, and we parked and washed it all, and I mean it's a lot different than what you really think,
Yeah. Have you ever, something I said every person in the world needs to do, go stand on the starting line for an NHRA car? Oh my gosh,
I've never been to that event, but I would like to go to that just to. But they say you almost have a heart attack when they take off.
I say it. You feel it. So bad. You feel it, man. It's a feeling. I say I never stood at the starting line. They don't let just anybody stand the starting line, but you can sit, from 20 feet away.
Yeah.
And you feel it throughout your body. It's crazy, but it is one thing I like about the drag strip. Like when I do go to Bonne Terre, which is, maybe once a year, you can stand as close as we are to that starting line.
Yeah.
And it's just, man, it's awesome,
Is that the way you used to feel when I'd fire up the SRT4 Neon and take off?
No, a little bit different.
That's me and your buddy Kyle's jam. The other day I was talking to him about drag racing stuff, and I said, man, I had this black SRT4 Neon with nitrous stuff. He goes, you kidding me? And I said, no, why? He goes, I had one.
Yeah, I had a red
and
one.
I go, oh my gosh. I said, that was the fastest production little car I've ever drove.
Yeah.
I said, it was so fun. I tore the wheels off that thing because I had a nitrous on it, and then and this was old, I guess it was old dry system. I just changed the pills in it with a guy. I had it tuned way up in St. Louis somewhere, and he's like, now you only want to run up to this. But then he gave me a pack of 5 more that was a little bigger. And so half the time I'd go and I'd be like, man, this guy might beat me. So I'd put something different in, and then as soon as I pull off the track, man, the whole car would be smoking and hot. And I'm like, I'm going to tear it. This was my highway unit for work. I said, I can't be tearing this thing up. But yeah, it was funny because I was like, hey, I had an SRT4. And he's like, oh, me too. And I said, yeah, I probably beat you one of those times. I raced too many of those.
So before that, tell me about the Neon you had.
I did have a blue. Before SRT4, I had a blue RT Neon. And it was 150 horse or something.
Yeah.
And I put 120 shot on it, and it didn't like it. But I run around town everywhere and had blow-offs on it. And I think I wasted more nitrous shooting it all over the lowrider guys than I did.
So funny story back. Remember when the first Fast and Furious came out? Mm-hmm. We had a lowrider club and a bunch of other people. There's like 20 of us. We all converge on the Park Hills or Flat River at that time movie theater and watch Fast and Furious. Well, that's the original, all nitrous and everything. And I remember this guy, he ran out of the movie theater as soon as it was over just to do test hits on Main Street in Park Hills.
Yeah. The memories behind all that stuff is what makes it cool. Yeah. Starting out as kids, watching the kids go through the same stuff we went through, and just taking stuff and tinkering with it and learning and putting stuff together. It's apparent. It's cool to see the kids getting into it,
And the kids need to. We kind of talked already about it. The kids need to get back into more stuff like that because all the video game stuff and all this, which heck, social media is what killed most of everything anyway. I mean, we're sitting here doing social media. This is all part of it. We talked about last time on our other show that it kills everything, man. It kills anything doing. Opening your door to going outside, man. Social media has killed so much stuff, but it's the way of the thing, and you don't jump on it, you're gonna get left behind, really. And I hate it, but I love it.
Yeah,
I don't really know how to explain it any different, but we definitely need it for all this stuff, and this it all blew up, so it's pretty cool.
One thing I want to talk about before we get on talking about the Bonne Terre drag strip is one thing. As we're talking about the stuff growing up with us and cars and fast cars and this and that, no prep racing. So that's, let's talk about that. That's huge right now, I feel like.
Yeah, no prep racing is a totally different situation than it used to. It's grown into a lot faster stuff. There's a lot more technology out there.
Yep.
The ability to be able to make a car go down a surface, you never think it'd go down it is crazy nowadays.
And the amount of speeds that they do it.
Yeah, and back in our days, it was more of the street racing type situation.
Yeah.
I grew up in that, and everybody grew up in that. The world we live in now is a lot different.
Yep.
The repercussions are a lot different than they used to be for us.
Oh, for sure.
I'm a big advocate on getting all the kids. These kids that are getting into this stuff, come down the track. All my crew is amazing. They help everybody out. They love teaching people how to do it. It's a safe environment. You don't have to worry about getting hurt. And you can learn a lot there that you don't have to worry about on the street. And then there's a lot of good no prep events going. We got a good no prep event this year, and it's very big. It kind of evens the playing field for a lot of people. And everybody's got to go down the same surface.
Right.
So it's not the fastest guys that are always going to win in those situations. But it gives you the thought process of learning something. What can I do to make this car go down this surface? This guy has more power than me, but I can make my car go down. He can't. It's the mechanics and the science behind it that these kids learn from doing that is what's cool to see.
So when you say you're having a no prep, is that a backside event?
It's a front side no prep.
So
Yes,
how
sir.
does that do? You scrape?
Scrape it down to bare concrete. Yep.
Yeah.
So it takes me quite a bit of time. I go down there and invest a lot of time into getting all the rubber off, clean it all off, and the front side no prep and the back side no prep are two totally different things. The front side you can go decently faster on the front side. The back side is more of like your street type stuff.
Yeah. And I guess the way Bonne Terre set up, you couldn't do a backside because
Yeah, actually, I have a longer shutdown than most of the other tracks, the smaller tracks.
Really?
Local, yeah. Jared did a good job extending it, and I'm actually working on extending it further myself.
Really? Okay.
And I fix a few things down there this year. We got lots of plans, and we want to do a no prep backside circuit this year. Towards the end of the year, start getting into that more. That way, we don't have to do just the front side, because there's people that like strictly the backside stuff, and there's guys that don't like no prep stuff at all. They like strictly the radial stuff, There's just it's the same thing, but it's a totally different world,
Right.
So timeout.
Oh boy, he's confused now.
What's the front side and what's the back side?
So essentially, the front side's the track that's been prepped. We scrape it down to bare concrete.
Just the
you
front
have to
of
start
the track.
starting line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that's all concrete that's been prepped. Once you get past the shutdown, the other end's all asphalt that hasn't been prepped.
Yep.
So blow it off, and you got to go down virgin asphalt going backwards on the track.
Oh, so you're starting at the other end.
Start at the very other end.
That's
and
what
the back side.
Slick
yeah.
is,
That's what I was thinking, but then I was thinking I ain't going to say, hey, do you go backwards on the track? And you guys be like,
Backwards,
what an idiot.
Yeah. Definitely got to make sure you shut down before you see that wall. That wall comes pretty quick.
That's the reason I was thinking, maybe not doing a backside event at Bonne Terre would be a good idea, only because, if you fly up the track and lose brakes, and there's a concrete wall there.
100%. Yeah. The other end, we got a sand trap, and there's a pond down there that you catch you. It's definitely safer going the forward direction.
Yes.
Especially as fast as these cars get, man. These cars going down the backside yesterday. I went to an event yesterday myself, helping some of my guys, and it's crazy how fast they're going. The technology out there now in the last 15, 20 years has gotten crazy.
And the biggest thing that this is going to blow Booyer's mind, circle track racing, traction control is the devil. It's forbidden. Drag racing, if you don't have traction control, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I personally don't like to do traction control myself either. I like to learn the process of the car and get in the car to go down and use the traction control after that. There's a lot of guys that rely on that stuff, and it takes away that thought process of learning how to do it without it. If you can make a car go down a surface with no traction control, then use it, you're going to be much better off than trying to use it.
The difference is it's legal in drag racing.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's totally not. Even though we got, I think Lane Surratt and that Cameron Chamness, those
think
two
they're
kids,
running
they have
Well, it's
traction
good,
control.
Good thing we ordered a traction control
device to
for
test
double
them
run.
out. I just wanted to throw that in there on them.
Yeah, no, I
So-
see him.
so
I see
the-
him in the comments, but I'm trying to ignore him.
I'm ignoring them because they're talking about other stuff. So a no prep, like once you guys start firing up the first race, you don't go out on the track at all. You're done.
If there's something gets leaked or something, we clean it up, obviously. Blow it off if something, my guys got brooms and stuff, they keep it cleaned off, but otherwise it just stays as it is the rest of the night. And that's one of the things is the track's going to get better as the night goes on, the air gets better as the night cools off. So you have to learn to adjust for all that. There's a lot you can learn in that stuff that's the scientific stuff behind it that really teaches you a lot.
I guess the same way on we have a lot of crazy electronic injection. We hook laptops. I guess that's a whole big thing, just like
Same thing. Yeah.
okay.
Dude, it's
We still though on some of our stuff, even our outlaw cars that we run, we still run mechanical where you change weather pills and different stuff, and those actually still produce more horsepower if you get it just correctly.
Yeah, and the juniors, the boys as juniors are still carbureted, and they're just now getting in the technology of EFI on those. And I can't say that it's going to be drastically faster or better, but it will help adjust for weather better because you have the ability to push a number in a computer and change it versus having to change a jet. But there's guys that have been doing this stuff a long time that, and even myself, I talk to that can tell you, okay, that it's cooled off 4 degrees. You need this different, and it's the same situation with you guys. You guys go back to the pits. Okay, I need to change a toe in on this side to change this. It's no different with us. It's the same principle, and I don't think racing's as much. The the exhilaration of worrying about what you're doing as it is the learning. You know, all of us we like the process. You like the learning. You like the
technology is crazy because, like, one of our other buddies, Andrew Blanton, you know, he's right across the highway from us here.
Yeah.
Just to see him fire up his car and his videos he makes, and you look at the inside of it, and I'm just like, he's got TV screen almost in there or some shit, and I'm just like,
you ought to go to an event with him and Jordan Merciel sometime, because they go down the track, you know, and they get their laptops out and they're looking at, you know, how much power it made at 255 feet, 305 feet, and all this. Well, you know, I'll ask Andrew, what are you doing? Well, I took some timing out of it at, you know, before it shift into first gear or second gear, or just all this stuff. And I'm like, what the heck?
see,
man?
that's not too different though, because like if you take our cars down to the dyno, you watch, you know, we have this guy that dynos all our stuff, Joe B, and the lines will be all jagged on there, and by the time you leave, it's gradual because he's at this certain second, at this certain RPM, not second, at this RPM. The fuel was a little low. He bumps that up, then we lower one or raise one or whatever, and then by the time you're kind of done, I mean, it's set up pretty awesome. So I guess that ain't too much different. Besides,
I don't understand it. Jeremy can explain it a whole lot better than I can because it's Greek to me. But
yeah,
you know,
I mean, I just like watching the screen, so I'd be in the fence or who knows where, because all the stuff's going crazy. Because I always had, you know, they got all that digital crap in those cars now. And back then we had the pen, the needle. So you never even looked at it. Pretty much something bad happened, it was too late.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff nowadays, safeties and stuff to catch all that, and you can pretty much make the car do whatever you want, you know. I laugh and joke sometimes, tell these guys, I'm like, you can set stuff in there now to make the horn honk and the lights go off the other end if you want, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of technology out there, but everybody has the same technology. Everybody has the same ability to use that stuff, so you could learn it just as much the next day, and that's what's cool is seeing the people use it, you know. And I really enjoy watching people learn it. Some of those guys come down there and they'll take a car that they've never even driven before and start to learn that stuff and use it, and just watching somebody get the enjoyment of learning how to use it and the outcome of it is it's a lot of fun. That's the best part about the track is that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have to make we'll take the mini truck to the drag strip one night, because you guys don't get rained out nearly as much as us.
I don't know about that. We had a pretty rough year last year.
Well, every dirt track last year, I don't think we raced till like May.
Yeah, we had a rough beginning of last year too. Yeah,
it was rough.
But
But
I got Kyle down there. He's scared he's going to get back into it. He gets in one of them cars. He ain't going to get back out.
I've got him spending so much money on race cars, he don't even know what to do. He won't be able to afford to get a drag
He's
car.
got plenty to borrow. All he's got to do is come over.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we'll have to get it over the drag strip. But I enjoy going.
Well, I just see on like we'll already be canceled, and they'll be like, well, we're going to give it a little bit, and you can just dry yours off a little bit.
Yeah,
so
definitely a lot different.
Once our pits get a little bit muddy, we're done.
Yeah, and there's multiple times last year it rained, and the one that floods at the other end, there's nothing I can do. But you guys didn't have rain too, and I actually enjoy coming down and watching the kids race. So it's nice. We're like, hey, we're going to go watch the kids race because we got rained out. So most everybody enjoys both of it.
Oh yeah,
you know it's.
You know, if you're a race fan, you're a race fan. It doesn't
You
matter
see
what.
something loud and fast.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I give
For
all
sure.
our dirt track cars trouble that aren't wing cars or something like that, because I like sprint cars and micros and this, and I give our modified guys all kinds of crap. But realistically, I like them. It's not like if I had all the money in the world, I would buy a sprint car or something like that before I would buy a modified or whatever. But yeah, no, we'll have to get down there just because I know we'll have at least one night. But running the track I'll probably end up getting yelled at for canceling and all kinds of stuff like that. So who knows?
Yeah, it's tough calls. You know, obviously, as on our end, we would rather be there every day. I'd run the track every single day, all day long, if I could. But you have to weigh your options and when it's going to be beneficial and when it's not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and most people understand, but you're always going to have that. You know, you can't make the right call every single time. I've canceled and it's sprinkle and it looks like it's going to pour and it don't rain. You know,
Yeah.
So.
No, another thing I enjoy about the drag strip is the time and the attention to detail people put in their cars.
Yeah.
Because that's something you can't really do in dirt track racing, because 9 times out of 10 it's going to get tore up in no time.
Well,
but
I
drag
get
racing, that's different.
I get a kick out of the trailers. I'm used to walking in trailers that are filthy. And even if it's a nice trailer, you walk in and you're like, this is a nice trailer, but there's dirt everywhere.
Yep.
And like I gave Jason Hunt, when he kind of got back into it there for a little bit, I gave him trouble because I went out there and watched him one day, and I was like, man, this will be a nice sprint car trailer. And his dad was like, not a chance. No, we're not. This thing ain't going to see dirt. I mean, everything in there's shiny. And I'm just like, this is way different than I'm used to. But
let's go ahead and move on to talk about the Bonne Terre Dragstrip. So we'll talk a little history. It started as the Big River Sand Drags many years ago. I don't want to guess the year. And then, do you know when it was converted to asphalt?
I'm not sure the exact year. It's been about 11, 12 years now that Jared converted it to the concrete track.
Yeah. And I know that's something that people in this area had talked about that was needed because you had to go all the way to Sykeston, which ain't a bad drive, but
no, not at all. And I encourage everybody to support all the tracks. And all of us small tracks are equally just trying to, Sykes and Ricky and them guys are good people. Brad and them guys at Gateway are good people. We all do our best to try, and I'm sure to work together to accommodate everybody, to share time to where it all works out for everybody. Because ultimately, you want everybody to have fun and as much as you can, But
is there was a track that I want to say Arkansas, never went. We tried to go 3 or 4 times and it rained out. George Ray's,
yeah.
Is that still an operation?
It's still a thing, yep.
Is it?
Yeah, George Ray's is more of like a street style, no prep track. Yeah, it's kind of a backwoods track. But yeah, the small tracks, I've traveled quite a bit in a lot of small track stuff. And you're going to meet some of the nicest people you ever meet in your entire life when you go to these small tracks. Yeah. I know people in tons of different states that I've met at these tracks, and you get to be like family with, So
there is one thing. I always seen where the drag racers always talk about they go to Mexico. What is that?
Well, that's when you can't really say you go street racing because it's obviously illegal.
Okay.
So if you get caught street racing, so when you see Mexico, it's legal.
Okay.
So yeah.
I was thinking, damn, that's a long way to go racing.
Right. Yeah.
Man, I remember. Do they still do the Sunday in October street racing down in Viburnum? Do you remember those?
No, I went to those before years ago, but
was it KK Highway?
KK Highway, yeah, that stuff is all that stuff.
So you always went out here to Caledonia on Saturday, and then Viburnum was the next day. That was always a fun weekend. First weekend in October,
That
wasn't it?
stuff's got to be completely illegal by now. That's too much fun, probably.
Yeah, and that's the thing about that stuff is nowadays the phones have ruined it.
Yeah.
Everybody videos everything, so you can't really do too much without getting caught anymore.
Back then, Viburnum, 90% of the time, the cops would just show up and watch. Or Caledonia.
Yeah.
They would show up and park, and it was like, hey, as long as nobody gets stupid, but if I get a call, I have to bust this up. But if I don't get a call, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cars have grown a lot since then. We 10-second car back in the 2000 era was totally different than nowadays. These cars are going so much faster than they used to. It's a lot more chance for something happening.
But we'll go ahead and move on to the drag strip. I got the schedule here. So you start racing in March, and going to try to go all the way into November, depending on weather.
Yeah, we actually had some stuff this year in December, and right after New Year's, we had a couple no prep events.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult to get the track clean for a prepped event in that time of year, but we can do some no prep stuff. But we're going to start some test and tunes here in the next few weeks, let everybody kind of get everything ready for the year, get back into it, get everything ready for some stuff. We got a few big events starting out in April. The Autos for Autism there, that's a really good one.
That's always a big
benefit
one.
event.
Yep.
It's been really big for years.
I see, we'll start at the top. March 28th, UBDR. Tell us about that.
That's the United Black Drag Racing Association. That's a local guy that I'm friends with. That's their deal. They put that on. It's just their private event that they're going to have. But anybody can come. But they do their own thing. A lot of those events, guys like to do their own private events and structure it for certain things the way that they like. So
I did see, and I haven't looked on the schedule to see if it's there. I know it is. I seen a post here about a month ago. I guess there's going to be some drifting or something.
Yeah,
some
so
people are into the track.
Pretty big in the drifting community too. Yeah. The drifting guys, I do a lot of tuning stuff. So the drifting guys come down, and we're trying to expand the parking lot to do a drifting event throughout the year too, once a month or something, to accommodate those guys, because that's another thing that it's a very good car community too, but they're losing a lot of their places to go. So we're trying to adapt some to bring those guys more into it too.
So we got April 4th, the Gap A-Fun Grudge Fest?
That's the Gapathon. Yes, sir. That's the big wheel event. So that's going to be your our big wheel cars. You know, the old Cutlasses with the 24s and 26s. And, you know, it's a grudge racing thing with Jay Johnson puts that on himself. They have a car show, Easter car show, so they'll have a test and tune Friday night. They'll all come down, hang out. It's a pretty good time to watch. Those guys like to do more like grudge, call each other out type thing, so they do that. And then Saturday they have a few events. They'll have a small tire event. And
give it just a second. I think we're having some.
We can fix it. I mean, everybody's watching us live, so heck with it.
Are we good?
No, how do you plug it in, Davey? Huh?
Give us just a second.
You need me to plug it in? That was my phone I was listening to the whole time.
Oh, by the way, I wear these because
Okay, rock and roll. So
All right.
Sutton cleaned up his mess, so we're good. He spilled ginger ale on it.
Yeah. So, so that was, let's see, the Grudge Fest.
Yes, sir.
Gap Grudge Fest. And then April 18th, the Street Bike Takeover.
So that is, they used to do a thing called the Ride a Century, where all the street bikes kind of ride around the city and stuff.
I did that.
The guy that did that,
I did that.
I've actually gotten kind of close with the guys that do the street bike stuff. They're an amazing group of people too. They come down, hang out, and they support us tremendously. So they wanted to do an event for those guys to come down, do a lot just street bike stuff. They're gonna have like some stunt stuff in the parking lot, have like a bike show type thing. They can do some racing, just somewhere to get the bike community together and have some fun without getting any trouble.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually rode the Ride of the Century with the Street Fighters.
Oh, really?
That's it was. I've rode those. I rode 2 or 3 of those, and it was the most insane thing I've ever
It's a
seen.
huge
in my life.
deal. Yeah.
There was 500 bikes. We met at like Soulard, rode all the way through Illinois, then come back all the way through everywhere else. But man, I mean, the stuff that they did was insane.
Yeah,
but they do some pretty cool. I mean, they broke the law 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But then we did some stuff where like there was a bunch of kids in the children's hospital that wanted to hear motorcycles. We drove 500 bikes through there.
Yeah.
And just revved them up, done all kinds of cool stuff. And I mean, all these kids are hanging out the window. It was awesome. But yeah, definitely the stuff on the highway and all the crazy stuff
Yeah, they're
was
very
insane.
talented. Yeah,
I can't believe they can do it.
Yeah.
Then one year we go and it's raining the whole time. So nobody's, they're not pulling wheelies on the highway. Well, what we would do, we would ride all the down the highway and we'd come under underpass where it was dry. They would pull a wheelie up from that underpass and then drop it before the next one so they could do it again because they hit dry patches. Insane stuff I've ever seen. But yeah, that Street Fighters group was nuts.
Yeah. You was a little luckier. Me and my wife's never allowed me to have a street bike. That's one of our agreements. Is I can go fast on anything but a bike. So
Yeah.
My parents wouldn't let me have one, and I actually had two jobs when I got out of school, and I bought my own, and then they were just like not happy about it. And then luckily it didn't run very good. Well, then I just bought another one, and after riding it though a little bit, it is a death trap, man.
Yeah, I'm not very coordinated on 2 wheels. We're actually one of the local Burromax dealers. We've gotten big with the guys that own Burromax up there, and we're their local track to test. They come down testing. My son actually has tested a lot of their new drag bike stuff.
Wow.
We're having a whole Burromax class. We're adding pit bike classes for like the kids to get the kids into racing and stuff. At some point, I'd like to get into doing the rentals on the bikes and stuff. And I've wrecked our pit bikes quite a few times already. I'm not very coordinated. So
No, I am 100% non-pit bike guy because those things are it's either full-blown throttle or nothing. There's no putting around on it at all. And when you're riding around in the dirt pits with rocks and stuff, I'm like, not a chance, man.
So you guys got the little 1600s and the 1000s. The bigger one now, the drag bike, the XRA, they actually make it a drag bike. Well, they make a regular one. And you could pretty much 20 mile an hour hit it and do a standing backflip.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, they're super torquey. These electric motors are crazy what they can do. And
I'm not in. I don't see how the kids do it, and they just tool them around like at our little track. They'll go off in the woods and have these little tracks going. And I'm like, I can barely ride from the concession stand to without almost biting it. I mean, also I'm on like a tiny one that's for a kid. So
I call the big one now. I've wrecked it so many times. I call it Crash Bandicoot because it's falling apart. But they're a lot of fun. It's a good time. The kids will come down there, and my boys and a lot of other kids have gotten close to them. Even yesterday, they were riding them around. They like to ride those things around. The parking lot gets a little hectic, so they can't really do it there. But at some point in time, I'd like to do something with like a course at the track and let the kids come down and ride those around because a lot of the people are buying them for their kids. Kyle's kids all got them, and a bunch of you guys have them down there too. They're just a good time to ride around on. And
that actually is speaking of that TT course deal thing we're doing at Doe Run. That they added that class last year, pit bikes.
Dude,
and there was like 6 or 7. That was almost the biggest 6 or 7. So that was almost.
No one's doing it over there.
That was almost the biggest class they had in that, and I was like, probably next year it'll probably be even bigger.
Yeah.
Because half of our little dirt track kids that maybe don't go anywhere on Saturday, I'm going to pump up their parents and be like, hey, pit bikes are racing tomorrow, man.
We introduced it last year a couple times, and we had some of our biggest turnout for pit bikes. That was crazy. Like,
Really?
you know, 30, 40, 50 kids riding bikes and stuff. And then school is we allow like golf carts and stuff too. So it's a good time. Everybody gets into it. It's fun. It's not super crazy. But it draws the whole family in, you know. You get to see the kids, little kids doing it. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll move on to, let's see, we got, move on to June. And June 20th, you got the Gasser and Nostalgia Night.
Yeah, there's quite a few local organizations for the Gassers and Nostalgia. That's your old big, tall front end, straight axle stuff, you know. The old school, really cool looking stuff.
The ones that guys sit on top of the rear ends.
It's a kind of a dying breed because the younger generation isn't into that as much as the older guys. But it's still really cool. So it's nice to bring that stuff out because when these younger kids see that stuff, they really start to appreciate the older stuff, seeing that.
Yeah, for sure. Then we'll move on into August, the Bonne Terre Index Shootout.
Yeah, so the Index Series we're running all year long. That's our prep series deal.
Okay.
So I'll have one each month.
Okay.
And that has a couple different classes. Allows your faster, small tire, prep track type cars. We do an Index Gambler series where it's kind of for everybody. So you can pick your index within half a second.
Yep.
So it evens the playing field for everybody. You know, you don't have to worry about drawing a faster car and getting beat. And that goes all year long with the point series. At the end of the year, there's prizes for the winner of the point series. And that gets people out and gives them something to work towards the end of the year. So,
yeah, that's cool. Then we'll move on to September. We got the Side Street Diesel.
Yeah, we had a big diesel event last year. The truck guys, there's a whole following for community for diesel. And diesel has gotten big. The diesel performance stuff, it's a new generation of horsepower. You never thought diesel trucks would end up that way, but it's gotten really big. A bunch of the local guys that work on them and build them have gotten together, and they wanted to have a place to go and have diesel drags. And a lot of these guys come down there and they're not familiar with it. You know, they get out there, and as he was saying earlier, do the burnout and don't want to stop. These guys come and do the burnouts. They go right on down the track and never stop. You know, so it's fun watching and getting to teach somebody how to do that and seeing other people that aren't typically into it learn how to do it.
I like watching some of those videos. I do like the diesel stuff. I think it's just because there's more crap going on, and you know, you just see so much smoke and all that kind of
Everybody
thing.
likes it with the starting line guy. The starting line guy gets smoked out for sure.
Yeah. And the amount of power that those things make and the times they run is pretty impressive.
Yeah, the diesel stuff's come a long way.
And the noise. I like the noise.
Yeah, the diesel stuff's come a long way for sure.
Yep. So we'll move on into October, the Fast Fall Shootout.
Yeah, so your guys' stuff is pretty much the same all year long, horsepower-wise. In our world, we look for things that make them run better because obviously we're trying to get every ounce of power we can. Usually in the fall, your DA gets better, your weather gets better, so your car's going to make more power. So the end of the year is kind of our Hail Mary. See how fast you can go, because if you break it, you got all winter to fix it type situation. Right. So the Fast Fall Shootout is their end of the year, like last hoorah. If you break it, you got all winter to fix it. So
yep, good deal. Then following weekend, you got the Little Legends Junior Race.
Yeah, the Little Legends, pretty much all of your local tracks, we all do at least one big race for the juniors. Yeah. That's our legacy race every year for the juniors. Just gets the kids into it, teaches them the process of all of it, gives back for the kids, and gives them their own event. You know, it's a big weekend for the kids. Yeah. Kids come down, they all have fun. We had some different stuff for the kids last year, and typically, parents are racing, myself included, it's tough trying to run us and the kids. It's nice to have a weekend with just the kids. Let the kids enjoy it. Yep. You know, they have a really good time. So.
Yep. Now, I didn't touch on every week or every. You know, I done just some of the highlights, but you race pretty well. It looks like every weekend, starting in March, April, and run. You know, so every Saturday. Then usually you do test and tune on Friday.
Friday nights test and tunes. Yeah, we open at 5, and then testing goes from 6 to 10. Sometimes we go a little later. Sometimes there's spills. You know, we try to accommodate and go a little bit later. And then Saturday we try to have races. If it rains on Saturday, sometimes they move to Sunday. We have the ability to kind of move it around a little bit, so we move them around as necessary to get it all done. But and then obviously in November it gets kind of tough. You know, you never know what you're going to get in November. Missouri weather, you might, like he said last year, May was well into May, we had a lot of rain. It was very difficult. So.
Yep. So what is it, if somebody wants to come out to the I almost call them the sand drags, the drag strip, what's it cost to get in out there?
It's $20 gate entry fee. If you're doing testing is $40. You have to have obviously your safety equipment, your helmet, your seat belts, that type of stuff. If you've never been before, the guys are real good about being helpful, showing you the ropes, teaching you how to do it. And, everybody's usually really patient. There's not a whole lot of people that aren't willing to help somebody. So.
Yeah.
And then we have that the mid-mo streetcar night. That's our no prep type event. That's the scrape track thing.
Okay.
That's for more of the street guys. That was a class I'm trying to get more of.
Okay.
That stuff. Get people off the street. Get them there racing. Give them a place to go where they don't have to worry about the faster cars on the radial type situation. And there's lots of classes that break that up for everybody. Yeah. It gives the no prep guys a place to go and have a race too. So.
Yeah, we'll have to get out there this year and, go live, do some fun stuff. We enjoy doing that. And, we like to promote racing. It don't matter what it is,
Exactly.
So.
What's a big paying race out there? Like what, say you're top, and I don't know all the classes. I know you got tons of different classes, but what's like a big paying race pay out there?
Most of the time on the normal,
or what's a weekly race pay compared to what you'd have a bigger show?
Our point series stuff, most of the races are typically 100% entry, so the more cars you get, the entry goes up. There's some races we do, the small tire races and stuff, where there's guaranteed money. Some of them, you might win $5,000 on a guaranteed money night. And the point series at the end of the year typically has a payout, so we get a lot of sponsors. Our sponsors are huge, which I'm sure you know.
Oh, yeah.
Sponsors mean the world to us, because the world that goes back into making everything better for everybody, going towards the payouts towards the end of the year. So at the end of the year, we've had multiple years where we've been able to put $10,000 up towards the payouts for the end and the points finals and stuff. So Jared was always really good about that too, and we've tried to continue that and grow it, because everybody likes going consecutively and doing a series like that. It's
so when your racers, because I know our dirt people are so spoiled with stuff, when they pay a pit pass and then they actually have an entry fee too, they pay, and that there's a percentage of payback, type thing.
We do a $20 gate fee. We pay back 100%. I believe that when you race, the money that you pay for your classes, should go back to the racers. Yeah. So I pay back 100% of payout for the class on all of my point series stuff. So you pay $20 to get in. Whatever you pay for your class, you're going back. So you got 10 cars at $100. It's $1,000 at the end of the night.
Okay.
So
yeah, I was so confused, because that's the way the four wheelers and all those people do it.
Yeah.
Well, at the dirt track, you pay your pit pass, and then the track just pays the money. So they pay out the extra money, which is great for the drivers, because they ain't paying any more money. But man, if we start charging entry fees, whew, I'd be hung out in the trees.
Yeah.
It would be nuts. But that's the way every racing. We've got to start changing our ways a little bit about things like that, because no one does it like the dirt track world.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of flack over the $20 entry fee raising it. It was $15 for Jared, and I raised it to $20. People, it doesn't really go as far as they think. $20. That $20 is what keeps that place going. And then I try to pay back 100% of the entry fee to everybody. That way, you got a good payout at the end of the night.
So we got a question for you.
Yeah, we actually got one regular question here.
Yeah, Preston Surratt, he's one of our
dirt track dads.
Yeah, he wants to know, what's your thoughts on IHRA buying everything up in the drag world?
IHRA is a good sanction. We're IHRA sanctioned too. You get your points there. They just bought up Memphis. They're trying to grow. All the IHRA people are amazing. I'm super proud to be part of that program, because they're investing back into the kids. They're investing back into trying to get bracket racing is huge. Bracket racing is old school stuff, man. Yep. There's a lot of die-hard bracket racers. The kids these nowadays aren't into that world as much. They're trying to grow that back up and keep these tracks alive. So many tracks are closing. Yeah. Tracks are closing left and right just because they can't combat the price of everything now. It's just expensive, Yeah. So them guys are trying to get things back going. If you join with them, they have insurance plans. If you are IHRA sanctioned, something happens to the track, you got life insurance policies through them and stuff. Yeah. There's lots of good options to those guys.
Now, for some of us that don't really understand, now, like a bracket race, is that where you have to run between a certain time and a certain time?
So a bracket race, you dial in. So you have or
is that something different?
In box and no box, you have a delay box. So top bulb, you have a delay box. So you go off the top bulb and it has a delay that releases the trans brake and you go. Bottom bulb is you don't have a delay box, no box. You dial in your time. So we have cones. As you come in the staging lane, you have to have your dial in on your window set before you come up. Then whatever you dial in, it's whoever gets closest to that time.
Okay.
So if you dial in a 6:01 and I dial in a 6:02, whoever gets closer to that time wins. And the lights are staggered to accommodate that to make it even.
But also something to throw, so is that like a 400 tree or what's the?
It depends on the class. There's lots of class changes. There's 400 Pro Tree, 500 Pro Tree, Sports, full tree. A lot of the stuff nowadays is went instant green. The index stuff is huge. A lot of guys have gotten into index. Index is 6.0, 7.0, 8.0. So it's an index class. So you dial in you run 6.0 index. The only rule to that class is you can't go faster than 6.0. So whoever gets the closest, and you get 30, 40, 50 cars that'll all run within 6.0, 640s. So you'll get a real competitive class all in one place.
But also your reaction time counts for that.
Too, yeah.
So, let's say me and you go and I have a better reaction time, but run further away from my time. It's all considered. It's all together.
Yeah.
So
so your reaction and your time are added together essentially. So
Man,
yeah.
I didn't go to college, so I don't know if I could be a drag racer.
Yeah, it's all about that light. That light makes a huge difference in any of it, even the instant green stuff. You can make or break. Your starting line crew can make or break you because if those guys don't have you 100% ready in the right spot, and if you're not on that light, you can lose before you ever even start.
So you're able to change your dial in every run.
Every run, yep. You have to change it before you get to the cone. So we have a set place that has to be set before you get up there.
See, because I remember the drag racing days, you dialed in and you couldn't change it till second round if you lost.
Yeah.
So that's different to me.
And a lot of that stuff's changed too. The rules have changed some. And I'm still learning myself because we ran bracket. A lot of our four-wheeler stuff back in the day was essentially bracket racing. But the car stuff, I never did race competitive bracket racing. These guys are very competitive.
Yeah.
There's guys I'll see go down there and run within a number every single pass, like all night long.
Yep.
Yeah, there's guys that are very, very tough to beat, and they go to a lot of tracks and win a lot. So,
yeah, drag racing is definitely it's different than what we're used to, but it's a good different.
Yeah, you guys just got to get to the front.
Yeah,
Get to the front, stay there, stay there all night long, and you're good.
Yeah, it would be a little cooler, if drag racing if you could hit the guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I guess you can technically, but it don't typically work out too well.
So just to get off the whole drag racing, because Sutton likes to talk serious stuff, but I always like to talk fun stuff. So do you have all kinds of fights and stuff in the pits like we do?
Most of the time, it's pretty good. Okay. I mean, the only person I like to argue with is me usually. You know how it is. I'm the guy that takes all the blunt and everything. But yeah, everybody gets along pretty good. We don't typically have a whole lot of riffraff. I think the dirt world probably has a little more of that than we do.
I guess not being able to hit each other and stuff is a little more calm because they may be mad at each other for beating each other, but heck, man, our guys just beat and bang all over each other. They come in there and then they beat and bang all over each other in the pits too. But I guess not being able to kind of.
Well, there's mind games you can play drag race.
Oh yeah, you can burn somebody down. Staging games. There's people that play dirty, and it's all part of it. Yep. But at the end of the day, most people get along pretty good. And if you don't, in our world, if let's say we race and you beat me and we don't like the outcome, we can call the other person back out. We can go grudge race and see who wins and settle it that way. You don't have to settle it with, violence.
Yeah.
So.
Oh snap! Lane Surratt's in trouble.
This is a father and son team that keeps commenting on everything. By the way, the Lane is the kid. And his dad was the one asking serious questions, and then the boy got on there and said, "We don't care."
But yeah, I can remember, back to drag racing days, there was always head games you'd play, trying to melt somebody down or, things like that. And Jeremy's like, well, melt down, what's that mean?
Well, so like back in your sand drag, did you walk by and like pour something all over there? No. See, I would do stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
So our cars, a lot of our cars can't run for very long. We're designed to be up there, run, make a pass, get out. and a lot of cars don't have water.
Yep, no cooling.
They're cool with
Yep.
methanol. No, there's no cooling system, so a lot of them get pushed to the line and started. So somebody gets up there and you sit there for 3, 4, 5 minutes and let somebody sit there running, waiting on you, or you get in and you don't go in immediately, or deep staging. So you get pre-stage and stage. If you usually, the common way to do it is to pre-stage, let the other person pre-stage, then one goes in, then the other one goes in. A lot of guys will rush in and they'll deep stage and they'll light both bulbs. So that as soon as you go in, you're on a timer. You only have 7 seconds before it times you out.
Okay.
So if you get in there and they're not ready, it can really mess with somebody's head and can cause
Oh,
an
yeah,
issue.
now we're talking my jam.
Yeah.
Now we're talking some fun stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'd be pre-staged the king.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Do
get
you
me
know-
up in there.
Do you know what the track record is out there off the top of your head?
Yes, high threes, 390s is the fastest they've been down there, and 190 something mile an hour. And that wasn't in a door car. A door cars right now, I believe, is right around a 430 is our track record. And the more we extend the shutdown, the better it's going to get. I got some plans to widen some things. I'm going to change around the way that the track is, so get the prep a little wider. Because obviously, the faster cars go, I want to accommodate that a little bit more, make it safer. So
Anybody around, like, well, I say local, but do we know who holds the records? Or is it just,
There's some guys they're older guys that have been around here a long time that are very, very, very fast. I won't mention no names because I don't want no numbers getting out there. Cause in our world, the numbers mean a lot. And then a lot of guys will run no time stuff. No time stuff, they don't put numbers out there because you don't want somebody to run because if I'm going to run you and I know what you're going to run, then I can dial my stuff back.
Okay.
You always going to. There's pit games too. You can go up to somebody. Hey, I ran this, and you really didn't run it. Get them to turn their car up so they might spin. There is those games. And
man, I'm learning. When we take the mini truck out there, I'm gonna write weird numbers all over the front of it just to get me.
Jerry's gonna be dialing in way faster to get in your head.
6.47.
You're going to have about a 2-second reaction time popping that clutch.
Yeah, no, that thing ain't gonna go down. It only go like 48, so I'm screwed.
Yeah. Well, that is something we talked about doing a grudge race. I would grudge race you out there.
I'd still beat you.
No, I don't think
You
so.
guys, you ever been on a concrete drag strip?
Not a concrete.
Never.
No.
No.
Sand,
I ran-
sand only.
Yeah.
I ran my neon at oh man, I don't know if it was. Does Benton have something?
They used
So Benton,
to.
yeah.
Well,
Benton,
yeah, they still do a little
They
bit.
do, yes.
Yeah.
They have a circle track and they have their eighth mile
yeah,
track.
I know that, but I think I went down there with my neon one time.
Probably did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they used to do like a Friday night where it was like a bunch of import cars, even though I didn't have it. I mean, I did, but it wasn't foreign car. But still, I think I went down there
Yeah.
for that one time. And then we always talked about going to Gateway, for their midnight whatever.
Midnight Madness, yeah.
I always wanted to do it. We went a handful of times, but every time we went, I never took a car or nothing, so never really did it. But I've never done it. I don't even know if I'd be able to like handle the whole. I'd want somebody flagging it. I don't want to do the tree.
No, we got to do the full pro tree, instant green.
See, I don't even know what any of that is.
Yeah, exactly. I
I know the full tree. I see all of them go and then green. So what's the other one that everybody lines up and then it just goes green?
So you have 400, 500. So you got when you bowl stage, it's going to light up all the yellows, and then it goes to green. So if you have 400 tree, it's going to go yellow. 400 green.
I like that one. I'm in on that one.
Yeah. Everybody has their preference and there's difference, but whatever you get used to, it's hard to go to a different one.
Yeah.
You go to a full tree, I get up on a full tree, especially being an instant green guy. I'm a small tire guy. I get up there and get on a full tree, like first yellow comes on, I'm like ready to go. I'm like, I can't sit here all day, I'm going to go. So,
Yep.
So do you have a certain time? That'd be another thing. Talking about getting up there and lined up. Do you have a certain, like if this guy gets up there and lines up and then you pull up there, do you have a certain time you have to get up there?
So typically the rule is most places is 7 seconds. And once you go into pre-stage, you have 7 seconds to get in because you don't want to let the other guy sitting there, There's guys that check their air pressure and stuff afterwards. And most of the time we tell each other, hey, I'm going to be a minute, so give me a second, let me get up there. I'm the type of person, I don't want to take any advantage away from somebody else because I want to beat somebody, I want to beat them because I'm faster. I don't want to beat them because I took 10 minutes and burned them down, So most people are pretty
Yeah, it's
good
definitely
with that.
different because all our people want to burn each other down.
Right.
So, one question I ask people on a Dirty Right Rear podcast
Oh, God.
is I ask them about the dirtiest right rear they've ever been fed, from a race car. Well, obviously that's not an issue with drag racing. So tell us about the worst wreck you've ever had drag racing.
Ooh, I've on knock on wood. Luckily, have not had a whole lot of wrecks personally myself. This first year was my first on the track wreck. I bought a new car. I lost my race car last year, and I got a new one this year, and had a malfunction and hit the wall. But I've seen some pretty bad crashes. Yeah. It's honestly part of it. I tell everybody all the time, it's not if you're going to wreck, it's when.
Yep.
It's part of it. Just like this stuff, you're going to wreck. It's going to happen. You're going to break stuff. You're going to blow something up. And if you didn't, then you wouldn't almost get that exhilaration from trying to do it,
The closest I ever came to wrecking out there, I run a buggy for 2 years, and then I was building a dragster, and we had a guy that had a 250R four-wheeler that he lengthened out like 15 feet and had a Volkswagen motor, transaxle, transmission, all that, huge paddle tires on it, no suspension. Well, sand drags, you'd hit about 90 in the finish line in that thing, and the shutdown wasn't known to be smooth. And I started bouncing and got about 3 or 4 feet, the back end about 3 or 4 feet in the air, scared the living daylights out of me.
Really?
And that was pretty well it after that.
Probably the worst wreck I've ever witnessed is actually Kyle's. We went riding a few years ago on four-wheelers, sand drags, and that's, was our thing growing up together. And he got about 400 foot out, 60, 70 mile an hour, and the wheel come off the four-wheeler. And he didn't notice. He went a good ways without it, and it came off. And it sent him pretty far in the air. Yeah. And he come down, broke pretty much all his ribs and his back, and it was a pretty bad deal. So there's always that chance, but you could ride on the road and something could happen,
Yep.
So
I've witnessed a few bad wrecks out the sand drags. Luckily, I've not been there for a bad one at the asphalt track. So
cars are pretty safe nowadays. There's a lot of technology out there for the Hans device. The cages are really good. There's lots of good cage builders around here. We have lots of good fab guys. They all do a really good job building them and making them safe. We got fire suppression, and our cars we try to make them as safe as we possibly can. You guys know methanol is very difficult to put out when it gets catch on fire. So we have a lot of plans in place to put that out, and fire suppression in the cars and suits and multi-layer suits. Now, not everybody follows those rules like they should, and I'm not going to say I'm any better than anybody else. I've done things I probably shouldn't have, but usually most everybody wears their safety equipment all the time and does pretty good about it.
Good. Well, we've been going an hour, Jeremy. You got any more questions you want to ask?
I'm drag stripped out. I don't know too many questions. I was asking more questions than you guys did, I guess.
Is there anything we missed, Jeremy, that you would like to add or talk about, or anything?
We will have Sick Week this year. Sick Week is a drag week style situation. That's going to be a big event for everybody. Sick Week, those guys travel from track to track and do come there. So they'll leave multiple different tracks, Mocan, and if you look online, they'll have all their plant itinerary, but they'll go multiple places and they'll come back there twice. We're going to be one of their stops on their routes. That's huge for us. That draws in a big crowd. That's like the battle royale if you're doing something, because to be able to get in a car and drive it a long distance and come back and race it again,
right?
It's very difficult.
Is the Dixie Door Slammers, is that still a thing? Or?
That's still a thing. We do not have them on the books for this year. We don't have JJ on the boss again this year. We did last year twice. We're not sure if that's going to be come about this year. It's a pretty big ordeal to undertake. It takes a lot of work. But those guys that whole group is really good. They're just like the rest of us. They're just trying to have fun, and they travel around, and we enjoy having them every time they come. So we'll see.
How do the people in those apartments even? Do you get anything?
I get grief from it for sure.
But how? First of all, they got to know where they live.
Yeah, and obviously the track was there for a really long time.
Yes.
And even the houses around there, those guys knew what they were getting themselves into. If you didn't know, then you didn't do your research, because you obviously know. But we try to be accountable. We're not trying to make anybody mad, but obviously we have to run a business. We have to be there. But I do get some complaints. You're going to get that.
The entrance is crazy. You could freaking trick or treat out of your truck going in front of those apartments.
Yeah. They definitely put them right there. And personally, I'd love it. I'd love to live right there and watch racing all the time. But it's part of it.
Now, I've asked people that live there, and they tell me it's not as bad as you would think.
Yeah, they complain about the PA more than they do the cars.
Really?
Yeah, the PA system's pretty loud. That stuff echoes way more, I think, than the cars do. Generally, most of the cars aren't loud enough that you're going to hear them a long ways. Right. I've lived close to. I lived in Festus, grew up in Festus, and I-55 was right there.
Yep.
So I grew up. I'd go outside at night and sit on the porch and listen to the I-55 because it's cool to listen to that stuff. So. there's a lot of people that do still enjoy listening to it.
Yep. I live in Bonne Terre, and I enjoy going out on Saturday night and being able to hear, like, man, that was a fast car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to, you go out, Farmington was big back in the day.
Yep.
You could go out and sit and hang out and just listen to cars going on the highway.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't see as many of that stuff nowadays. There's not as many cars driving around, but it's still out there some.
Now you do your own tuning, or you have your own tuning company and all that stuff too, don't you, or something like that?
Yeah, I have a performance shop. I do mainly LS performance. I'm big into Holly stuff. I do a lot of Holly installs, tuning. Biggest thing I enjoy is helping people with the track. So I got a lot of customers that I travel. Jordan, he's on here now. Like he said, just happy to be here. Him and Andrew and I are pretty close.
Yeah.
I go travel with those guys, help out. I like helping them succeed and do good and learn and teach them the stuff, because the biggest thing for me is a lot of people think, oh, you don't want to let somebody else see how you do this or that, but you have to teach them how to do good with what you're giving them. If you don't give them the tools to use what you're doing, they're never going to be good, so those guys, I try to teach them everything I can. We all go out and have a good time, and Jordan's like family, those guys. I got hundreds of people that I've met that are really, really good friends. If you walk down the road, you never think you'd be friends with somebody, but you start working for somebody like that and you get to be really close. There's a lot of good people in racing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize it is like a big family, even though, you're racing your competitors against everybody, but racing is a pretty legit, it's where you're going to meet a lot of your friends and family.
Yeah.
Man.
Our holiday events are mostly made up of racers,
Yeah.
We hang out and Friendsgiving stuff. We do Christmas tree race parties and stuff. There's people that come to that stuff that you never in a million years would have thought you'd even hang out with, but you get to be really close. There's a really good community, and the circle track's the same way. I know a lot of the circle track guys, obviously hanging out with all those guys growing up, I was into that world, and I know a lot of guys that do it both with you and at I-55, and there's always that ribbon. You get like to mess with people.
Oh, yeah.
I get a lot of grief even from the dirt track guys, but dude, they're all good people, man.
Yeah.
Everybody, you want, at the end of the day, you have to have the other person to have fun.
Yeah.
If you were the only person out there, you wouldn't have no fun, so, but.
All right. Got anything else?
Not really, man. I mean, you got any, we always forget our sponsors on our show. We have people. You got anybody out at the drag strip that that helps you out, or any of your big sponsors that put on something, man?
Yeah, we have a list of sponsors. We have signs and stuff. I share a lot of stuff on the page. I'm not the best at the social media stuff. I'm working on that, trying to get information out there. Obviously, I live a very busy life. I try to keep everything on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. I post everything on there as much as I can. All of our sponsors, we couldn't do it without those guys. All those guys are what keep us going. That and the racers. The racers, everybody's showing up, watching, seeing good turnouts. Obviously, you guys are in the same situation. Seeing packed stands and a crowd of people having a good time and watching, that's what makes it worth it. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so if you're looking how to find it, you can find them on Facebook, Bonne Terre Dragstrip. Do you guys have a website?
We do not have a website as of right now, no.
Yeah, so check them out on Facebook, and they post all their schedules and information on there, so that's probably the best way to find out about them.
Yeah, we have an apparel store on there. Bates Inc. set up for us, and they handle all of our apparel. We have a lot of apparel through those guys. And then we getting more into doing online stuff, so the website will come. It's just I'm learning.
Yeah.
You got to learn very quick when you get in these situations. So.
Oh yeah, it's challenging, man. There's a lot more, and then every person has their one thing that they're worried about, and it's completely different than the next person, and completely different than the next person, and you're like, holy cow, man! I didn't even think I have to remember all this stuff.
I drive my wife absolutely nuts because I go 10 different directions at the same time, but I can't focus on one thing because I got to worry about 10 different people doing different things. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the process of it all. Setting up the track on Fridays. Fridays is a long deal. I'm sure you know. Fridays is the whole day, or Saturday, whichever day you're racing. It takes pretty much a whole day just to prep the track. But that whole day you're down there it's like my time, So.
Well, that's about all I got, man. We appreciate you coming on here, man. Everybody check out Bonne Terre Dragstrip, Fridays they have Test and Tunes. Saturdays, you guys have a lot more events than us. So. Well, you have, we have every Saturday, but your event changes a lot of Saturdays. So you have to check out their schedule on Facebook to really see what you got going on every single week. But, we appreciate you coming on. And before we get too far, we thank our sponsors. We got, the Barn, Expert Graphics, Bates Ink and Apparel, Coles County Speedway, Double D Motorsports here in Farmington, Griffin and Sons Excavating. We couldn't do half of our show stuff without some of that stuff. Yep. So we appreciate those guys. And if you guys get time, you want to see some different than dirt, man, hit up the Bonne Terre Dragstrip. It's not too far from us here.
No, not at all.
Our racing community, man, we have a little bit of everything you can want right around here. So make sure you guys check out some kind of racing over this, from mostly March to October is about our normal.
Time.
It's time to go, man. Couple weeks, it's go time.
Yep. All right, thanks for coming on with us, Jeremy.
Yep. Appreciate
we look
you guys.
forward to seeing you out to the track sometime.
Yep.